if you want to win the hearts and minds of people, you have to put your idea in the marketplace of ideas, and it has to be discussed and debated. Now, you and I know, and I don't know where you fall in the spectrum of ideas, but I know where I fall in the spectrum of ideas. The ideas of freedom and of tolerance and of equality, I want them to be debated because I think they are robust ideas. I'm not going to inhibit anybody from saying what they want. I'm not going to legislate. In fact, I detest it when Europeans go around saying they're going to ban or punish people who deny the Holocaust. Well, it's really bad that they do that. If you put your idea in the marketplace of ideas, then it should be debated.
Enlightenment values are under attack by the far left. Enlightenment values are under attack by the far right. And I think one of the consequences of that is we've seen the center split apart. We've also seen the emergence of a new center. But one of the consequences of polarization is I think it's taken a tremendous toll on our liberal democracy. It's taken a tremendous toll on our conversations. It's taken a tremendous toll on our friendships. And there's like a purity test. And the right has its own kind of purity test that you have to be in complete ideological congruence with these, whatever the beliefs of the day happen to be.
Yeah, I call them the 10 commandments of the left, 10 commandments of the right. It's
right.
Like you adhere to all these 10 commandments, and if you don't, you're a sellout. You're an Uncle Tom. You're a Zionist. You are, yes, and that ends the conversation right there. But if I think that the other person is evil, how would I have a conversation with them?
What I said at the beginning, that we are actually, through that polarization and through the fact that we don't want to talk about the problem of Islamism, we end up in a situation where we do not, in fact, where we start to undermine important human rights values, freedom of expression. When you end up that Ayaan Hirsi Ali is not allowed to speak in certain universities, that's censorship. You don't like what she says, she's saying, listen to her, argue with her. But when you end up in the United States, that you cannot speak in campuses because you don't like what I'm saying, that's a problem.
I mean, Joe, this like hate speech laws start with good intentions, in my opinion, about protecting minorities, but then it eventually goes to a slippery slope in which everything starts becoming censored. And also, back to the point about protecting minorities within minorities, well, let's say in some bills, I think Canada was trying to pass a bill or a motion of the Islamophobia bill, of that we cannot, I mean, my interpretation is like you cannot criticize Islam or Islamism. How about the internal debate that is happening within the Muslim community about criticizing Islam and Islamism? And then when you say criticizing Islam is not allowed, criticizing Islam is not allowed, then this law will probably be affecting the Muslims who are trying to reform their religion, trying to change it from within. So obviously I think like to test someone's principles of defending free speech is to take the most extreme example and see if they were willing to stand for the people that the values they despise. And as long as there is no direct call to violence, then in my opinion, everything should be permissible.
In Skokie 1977, you had US, American neo-Nazis marching, wanting to march through a town inhabited by Holocaust survivors. And the Skokie Nazis were in fact defended by Ayaan. Then I think he was chief lawyer of ACLU at that time, himself a survivor from the Holocaust. And he said, I'm not doing this because I'm some kind of Jesus figure or idealistic. It's because I think that my rights as a Jew and as a child of Holocaust victims is best served by protecting the right of, by protecting this kind of speech. And I think that's exactly true. I mean, it is. I think it. I mean, I'm not saying that there are no dilemmas. And what I was trying to say in my remarks is that it takes a culture of freedom of speech to be able to manage this kind of bigoted speech without resorting to violence and other unconstitutional things. But I would defend these people's right to hate speech as long as it does not transgress into specific call to violence and violent actions.
The level of freedom of speech and freedom in general in the West is important because if it lowers a leader here a little bit, others will get the idea and they will multiply it by 5. I believe for protecting freedom in the world, there needs to be a lot of battle in non-Western parts of the world, which are mostly not as liberal, obviously, as West. But within the West, it's important because if the barrier lowers down in the West, it will go down much more faster in other parts of the world.
Ideas don't have rights. A very common thing you hear these days is Islamophobia. We speak out against any of these ideas, then it's totally fine. Speak out against Christianity, it's cool. Speak out against communism, no issues. Republicans, Democrats, Scientologists, Nazis, all good. Speak out against Islam, you're a racist. And that's a problem. Because again, just like I was when I took that history of religions course, everybody seems to think that Islam has this exceptional place, and it does not.
In the West, I think, the discussion about Islam is polarized and both sides are getting it wrong. There's one left liberal response, which is, of course, there's no problem. Everything is the same. We are all the same. There's just hatred against Muslims, and it's not that simple. And on the right, of course, there are the people who want to see all Islam in a broad brush and deny that there are nuances within it, and wants to see that the best Muslim is Al-Qaeda, and all others are Trojan horses. That's nonsense too. So I think a more nuanced discussion about Islam is needed. But to the question that you raised, I agree with the basic idea. Threats, death threats. An incitement to violence and like a kind of narrative which says violence is coming to you. That is, I think, a crime. If I'm waiting in front of a church with a machine gun and I'm ready to kill the church, that would threaten those people. So I do see a difference between incitement to violence or direct threats of violence, but that is different from hurting the feelings of those people with some ideas that I'm sharing. So that is becoming sometimes bad, and I don't accept that.
You can call me whatever you want. As long as you don't kill me, I don't have a problem. Okay? I mean it that way. But I will say what I mean, what I think. And right now, Islamophobia has become like a banner. I use the word anti-Muslim racism as a mean to say, yes, you have a certain kind of racism that exists, and it actually targets a person because his belonging or her belonging to a religious group. But don't use Islamophobia. I can criticize my religion. I have the right to criticize my religion. It's ideas. I have the right also to criticize and also paint my prophet. You can't tell me I cannot do that in the name of respect or blah, 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 blah. So from that perspective, these are, they didn't come out of the blue. The enshrining of freedom of expression in our societies. You fought hard, we fought hard for it, we're fighting hard there.
This is how I lived. And then, if you can imagine, the rest of it is all black as well, with the socks and the gloves. It's not like I left home anyway, I left home once a month for prenatal visits, because other than that, there's no reason for a woman to leave the house. A woman, even her voice should not be heard by strange men. It should be hidden away completely from men, other than your husband, of course. So there are a lot of people these days that are calling the hijab and the niqab empowering. And so I'm just going to pass this around, and you can try it on. There you go. And just have it on for, a few seconds or so and see if you feel empowered. Most Muslim women in America do not wear the hijab. It does not represent Muslim women. And when you do this, it makes it really unfair. I'm going to mention Asra Nomadi again. She also has an article where she talks about how she is shamed. There are a lot of Muslim women that will shame other Muslim women for not wearing a hijab. And now it seems to be the prevalent understanding in society that all Muslim women wear a hijab. And so when they meet a Muslim woman who doesn't wear a hijab, it seems to be strange. And that's really unfair.
And this is the case, you have also a kind of a movement. It's very nascent, but it's stronger, becoming more and more stronger, that is challenging all of these assumptions about religion, demanding reform, but at the same time taking a firm stance against Islamism in all its forms. And the good part of this movement is that we agree that we have all to work with everybody, whether ex-Muslim, whether belonging to minorities living in the Muslim world, whether those who are actually practicing Muslims, we have to come together, because without that, it won't be possible to fight this cancer or to stop our religion being hijacked.
It seems like we had a full room
Full
here,
house, packed.
and I can say, based on the research I'm doing constantly around the Muslim world and the Arab world that I'm mostly focused on, that many people, more and more people, are adhering to it today than before, and I really hope that we will win.
Ultimately, it's also, we are at the very beginning of it all. We are at the very beginning. I thank you so much for your friendship, for your support, for believing in me. And I would say, please, let's meet again 10 years from now, hopefully in a much larger room, where the AHA Foundation will not be necessary. Where 10 years from now, everybody will be so aware and know so well that you don't need activism to get through to the American people and to those who want to come to America the very obvious. And the very obvious is, if you come here and you want individual freedom, then you should be prepared. You should be prepared to allow for that individual freedom for your daughters, for your wives, for your sisters, and for all women.